Hello, Cheapskaters. Welcome to our channel. I'm Kath Armstrong, creator of the Cheapskates Club, where our goal is to live life debt-free, cashed up and laughing. If this is your first time visiting our channel, welcome. And if it's not, welcome back. I love to get together with old friends. Before I get started, if you're new to our channel, could I just ask you to click the subscribe button below me? Then you can click on the little bell and choose how often you would like to be notified of new videos on our channel. Now, subscribing is free and it only takes one click, and it only subscribes you by clicking that subscribe button, only subscribes you to our channel. But it means for you that you'll know about new videos first, and you'll be amongst the first in the world to watch them. I know. It was I had a bit of a mind-blowing moment a few days ago when I realised we get viewers from all over the world, not just Australia, but we have New Zealand, obviously, because they're our closest neighbour. But the USA, Canada, Japan, Israel, the UK, Scotland, which really I love because I have Scottish heritage, of course, South Africa. Where else do we have? Singapore. There's somewhere else. Oh, France. So it just blew my mind because I thought, here we are. We're just an Australian channel, and I talk about things in terms of how it affects us as Australians, but the whole world watches. So the other thing you could do, if you are comfortable doing it, if you're not, doesn't matter, but just pop in the chat. If you're in live chat, just pop in the chat where you're from, and it doesn't have to be specific. Keep it as general as you can. I understand that we're all a bit security conscious at the moment and a bit wary of sharing too much information, but I just love to know quickly where you're from and where you're watching from. Now, to join the live chat tonight, you actually need to be logged into your YouTube or your Gmail account. That's a YouTube requirement. It's not a CAF requirement. But don't panic if you don't have one of those. You can always leave a comment below me after the show. Right, now, there was a few people in the comments I noticed as I sat down. I was a bit puffed. Am I a bit puffed? Because let me tell you, it's been a day. It has been a day in our house. I have, I'm getting ready to go away. Yes, I will be away for 5 days. So I'm getting ready to go away. And in the middle of the 5 days will be the flood to end all floods in Melbourne, apparently. So I'm thinking about what I'm going to do about my garden, what I'm going to do about my pots. Hannah's planning to travel down on Thursday night in the middle of this storm. I'm thinking I'd rather she stayed home. Whatever she's got planned for the weekend can wait. All sorts of things going on, plus all the usual Thursday. It's only Tuesday stuff that I have to do. So it has been crazy. And Delaney, I am sorry that you're in hospital. Oh, okay. Feel better soon. Okay. Hello, Craig. Hello, Estelle. Hello, Julie. Hello, Yvonne. Hello, Evelyn, Wild Woman, Lynette, Greg, Beverly, 2 Beverlys, Beverly Sherwin and Beverly Walsh, Colleen, Miss Aussie Thunder, Catnaps, Tegan, Jenny, hello Tanya, Mrs. Dilligav, Kathleen, Outback 6, Catnaps is from New Zealand. I love New Zealand, you know. There's one place, if I had 2 places on my bucket list I'd like to visit in the world, I'd go back to New Zealand in a heartbeat, and Alaska. Not too fussed about anywhere else, you know. I'm just weird, but I absolutely love New Zealand. Kylie. Okay. Ooh, lots of people. Hello, Joel. Yep, I know you, Estelle. Neighbours. Ooh, lots of people from places that I have actually been. How cool is that? Hello, Selena. Now, I saw someone who said they were new here. I saw it before and I just skipped past it. That was a bit rude, wasn't it? I didn't mean to be, but if you are new, Craig, welcome. Glad you have found us. Okay, so I had planned to talk about habits and how changing our habits can save us money, time, and energy, how they can have a huge impact on our lives. And then so much else has popped up during the day. I kept thinking, oh, I must talk about this, and I must talk about this, I must talk about this. Anyway, here's hoping we'll get habits out of the way really quickly so we can talk about the other stuff. But, habits, we all have them, whether we realize it or not. We all have them. And it could be something as simple as taking a glass of water to bed of an evening and sitting on the bedside table. Little things that, really we just do them, but it's a habit. So we can turn little things we do, simple little things we do almost mindlessly, into habits, and they can have a really big impact on our finances. So, getting into the habit of filling the kettle with water and getting out the breakfast things before we go to bed makes the morning routine run so much more smoothly. My mum used to say I was ready for tomorrow yesterday because I just like to get things done ahead. Remembering to take the shopping list, make it a habit. Just little things can become habits. Now, a while back, a few years ago, actually, I did another story on habits. And in the research, it came up that there'd been studies done, and I'm sure you've probably all heard this one, but it takes 21 regular repeats to develop a habit. And then it requires regular repetition to keep it. So if you struggle with making your bed, for instance, start tomorrow by making it as soon as you get up. Get up, turn around, make the bed. Doesn't matter what time it is when you get up, but as soon as you get up, make the bed. Then do it for 21 days. And supposedly, hopefully, it will become a habit. Then keep doing it to reinforce the habit. Now, we all know it's so much easier to pick up bad habits, or it seems so much easier to pick up bad habits than it does good habits. But, keep making your bed, and before too long, you'll realize that you actually don't mind getting up and making the bed straight away. It's become a very comfortable habit, one that makes you feel good because once the bed's made, you can leave the bedroom. You don't need to go back to it if you're dressed. It's done for the day. So, in no particular order other than what popped into my head while I was typing up my notes for this show, here are some habits that will ultimately save you money, time, and energy. And I know I harp on about those three things, but they're all interconnected. And energy doesn't necessarily have to be personal energy, although I know by this time of night my energy levels are low. I'm better in the mornings. Or it could be energy as in lighting, electricity, gas, water, fuel, that type of energy. But developing good habits, they actually do save those three things. Now, the first habit that I thought of is to avoid debt. And I know it's a bit of a no-brainer, but avoid debt, especially these days. We want to avoid debt. If you're in debt, make getting out of debt your habit. So you start immediately by stopping the spending. And then what you don't spend, you use to pay off the credit cards or the loans or whatever the debt is. until it's done. You can try living on 20% less than you are earning and using that 20% to pay off the debt. Build your savings, add to your emergency fund regularly. Learn that just because you see it doesn't mean you should have it. We need to ditch the attitude of entitlement. And I thought, when I thought about that, I thought, oh, I don't have an attitude of entitlement. No, that's not me. And I thought, oh my goodness, how very pompous and pious and fake is that? Of course I have an attitude of entitlement. If I go out and I see beautiful yarn, I think, oh, I've just got to have it. I don't got to have it. I want it, but I don't got to have it. And I would justify it by saying, well, I'm using my mad money to buy it. And that's okay, because that's what mad money is for. But it's still an entitlement. I feel entitled to buy it because I have the mad money to buy it, because I see it and I want it. So even I suffer from that attitude of entitlement. I think we all do to some extent. So when that happens to you, stop and think. If you don't have the cash in your purse to pay for it, you can't afford it. Now, I used to do that all the time. When money was really, really tight for us, when we had 3 little children and a whopping great mortgage and all the bills that went with it way back when, and no savings, and we were struggling to get, the renovations done on our house and whatever, I used to have to stop and look in my purse, and every cent in my purse was allocated for something, maybe groceries or the baby's medicines or petrol or offerings at church. It was all allocated for something. If there was anything left over, then that was actually spare cash that I could have spent on something. 99.9% of the time, there was nothing left over. So if I didn't have the cash, I didn't buy it. I didn't have the money to pay for it, and I couldn't afford it. So that's not depriving yourself. It's actually being really smart with your thinking and your attitude towards money. If you don't have the cash on hand to pay for it, you can't afford it. Doesn't matter, you might have the money saved, but if it's not in your purse or your wallet right then and there, you can't afford it. Another habit to get into is turning off the air conditioner. And that came up because while I was doing some other research, some prices came up on the cost of running air conditioners. And coming into summer, I know that I'm starting to think about how we're going to keep the house cool. Now, we've got the promise of La Nina, and that, comes with high humidity, and I loathe humidity. So it will be really tempting to me to turn on the air conditioner. But it costs on average between around $240 up to $460 a year to run an air conditioner for cooling. And that depends on the climate that you're in, the size of the unit, and the area you are cooling. Obviously, if you are cooling a smaller area, it won't cost as much, but that's just an average. So I was thinking, wow, $460, and we're expecting a 35% increase in power bills in the next 6 to 9 months. So that's going to put it up roughly another $100 odd, a bit more than that, $120, $130, $140, say. Wow, that's $600 a year just to run the air conditioner. Tried to work that out properly. My head's a bit fuzzy. So that's a lot. So how can I develop the habit of not turning on the air conditioner? By going back to what I did before we had the air conditioner, running the fans. They cost like 3 cents an hour to run. Running the ceiling fans, they cost a bit more, probably about 7 cents an hour to run. Keeping the house closed during the heat of the day, keeping the blinds closed, keeping the draft stoppers against the doors. They're not just for winter. Don't put them away, guys. They work to keep hot air out of the house in summer, just like they work to keep the hot air in the house in winter. The other thing we can do is dress appropriately. I know that we're also used to air conditioning and climate control wherever we go, that it's pretty hard to dress appropriately, but dress properly, drink cold drinks, eat cool meals. When the sun goes down, open the house up, open the windows and doors wide to let the heat of the day out of the house and the cool air in. They're all good habits that we can get into that will help us not turn the air conditioner on. We've only had air conditioning a couple of years, so I should go back to those, although I'm pretty good at it, but I will definitely be going back to those because I do not want to be paying that much money just to run an air conditioner. Okay, habit number 3 is develop the habit of buying generics. Now, I know it's, I always buy generics, that's an old hat, and it is. There's still people that don't, and these days generics or store brands, they're really good quality. And often in a blind test, it could be hard to pick between the branded and the generic products. The price makes generics a much more sensible addition to your shopping trolley. At the very least, try them. If you don't like a particular generic product, you can go back to buying your branded product on sale. And look, I've been saying it for years, but some people haven't heard it, and some people it hasn't sunk in. Flour is flour and sugar is sugar. Paying for the coloured packet is just dumb. Another thing we can do is grow what we eat. Now I'm harping on about this again because I think this is going to be a very important action to benefit the household budget in the coming years. Look, the news, whether you watch mainstream or down the creek news, is full of the same thing. Prices are going to double, and there are shortages enough to cause a worldwide famine. So I'll say it again, and I'm not saying it to scare you, I want it to sink in. Prices are going to double, and there are shortages enough to cause a worldwide famine. Now, I don't think here in Australia we've ever actually suffered a famine, not on the scale of Asia and Africa. Imagine that over the whole world. We consider ourselves a first world nation. We've got running water and electricity and internet just about to every house, and supermarkets on every corner, and every home has a garage with at least one car in it, yada, yada, yada. So we don't really understand the importance of having food, because we've always been able to get it. Even during the last 2.5 years, when the shelves were bare and I was moaning and groaning about shortages, and people were saying, well, there's no shortage because you can't get brand A, but you can get brand B. That was a shortage. We could still get brand B. But in this instance, we're being warned that brand B will be gone too, and probably brand C and brand D. There will be nothing. So get outside and see what you can grow. Anything, lettuces, radishes, silver beets, spinach, strawberries, cucumbers, zucchini, pumpkins, grow from the compost, watermelon. They're all just really easy to grow. Then you've got things like tomatoes, capsicums, fruit trees, citrus trees, oranges, lemons, limes, grapefruit, mandarins, eggplant, capsicums, cabbages, cauliflower. They're all easier to grow. Those things just need a little bit more room, a little bit more attention. But any home gardener can grow them. Can grow them either in the ground or in pots or in grow bags or in styrofoam boxes, wheelbarrows, whatever. But at least try and grow something, because we joke about the $11 lettuce, and it was caused with the floods and whatever caused that. But if there's, we're going to see more floods anyway this summer, so lettuce will go back up. But if, a worldwide famine hit Australia, there would be no crops. What would grow would be very, very expensive because it would be very, very scarce. So if we can grow at least some of what we eat, it's going to give us wriggle room in our budget to be able to pay for the things that we can't grow. Now, I've heard all the excuses under the sun. I work, I've got children, I live in a flat, I have a concrete courtyard, I've got brown thumbs, I don't know what to do. That's the worst one. Look it up. Anyone can grow some food. Guys, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. It's how we use it that makes a difference. Okay, so are you thinking about other habits that we should develop that will save us money, save us time, save us energy, save our lives in a crisis? Let me know in the comments. Some that spring to mind for me were cooking at home. And I know, we all know this, but there might be someone watching at some point in the future who doesn't realise that cooking at home makes a big difference. You can make fake away instead of buying takeaway. It doesn't have to be, baked beans on toast every night of the week. Make your burgers. Do your breaded chicken. Fry your fish. Do your, what's that? There's a Mexican thing. We call it Groucho and Gunzo. Anyway, there's a Mexican chain that one of my boys is particularly fond of, just for the different flavors of Mexican. So we move them. We make it ourselves at home because it will cost him $35 to order his meal and get it delivered. But for $35, that's a week's worth of food for 2 people. That's a lot of money to go on one meal. Learn how to fake it. If you like Eggs Benedict, I love Eggs Benedict. Learn to make the hollandaise. It's not that difficult. And if you think it's really hard, you can get packet mixes. Seriously, fake it. You don't have to spend the money to buy it. Now, let me see. How are we going? Okay, let me just pop in, and I've just spotted a question. Mad Money. Mad Money, how do I figure out how much? That's entirely up to you. That's entirely up to you and what you can afford in your budget. It's a really personal thing. When money was really, really tight for us, children were little, mortgage was huge. Well, mortgage wasn't huge, but the repayments were ginormous. We had $5 each a fortnight because that's all we could get out of our budget. I love that $5. I could do a lot with that $5 if I really put my mind to it. So it's entirely up to you. We have more now because we can afford more. There you go, that entitlement's coming back, isn't it? That's because we can afford it. I have it. But I suppose it's sort of kept pace with inflation, maybe. It's still not extravagant. I take $20 a week, and if I want to blow it on coffee and cake with a friend, then I will. If I want to buy yarn, I will. If I want to buy a beautiful pad of papers, then I will. Although I'm trying to use up my stash. I'm trying really hard not to add to it. So your mad money is entirely up to you and what you can fit in your budget. Just understand, mad money is yours. You do not have to justify how you spend it. You don't need to ask permission to buy anything with your mad money. That is yours. If you wanted to give it to a collector on the corner, that's fine. You can do that. If you want to save it up and buy something more extravagant or more expensive, you can do that. It's entirely up to you, Jules. Okay, Estelle wants to know, does a dehumidifier setting on air contact less electricity? No, it doesn't. Does anyone have dehumidifying suggestions? We need a certain amount of humidity in the air. We really do, because dry heat is that burning heat. So we need a certain amount of humidity in the air. We just don't have to like it. Kathleen puts a fan out the window to suck out the hot air before bed. Maureen uses pedestal fans. Yeah, that's so cheap to run. Really, really cheap to run. Some dear little creature ate all the top of Beverly's parsley last night. It could be a mouse or a possum. Good taste. They waited till it was ready to, harvest. They knew what to do. Yeah, I think, Beverly, I think it will be a mouse or a rat. Might be a rat. Yeah, Guzman and Gomez, but we call him whatever, because seriously, I have had enough time remembering you guys. How am I going to remember something random like that? You've got no idea what we call it in this house. No, it doesn't mean we have to have excessive humidity in the house. You can buy, what's it called? We use them in our camper when we go north, because I absolutely loathe humidity. Bunnings sell it. It's a dehumidifier type little box thing. So yeah, all right. Now, did I miss any questions? Did I say to put questions in capitals, guys? All right, okie dokie. Let me get back to this when I never get finished. All right, another thing that we can do, another habit to get into, is mending those clothes. Sew on the button, fix the hem, put a patch on the hole. It takes no great skill to do any of those things. Patches can be iron on. Seriously, no great skill required to sew on a button, or you don't even need to sew up a hem. Get some hemming tape and iron it up. I have been known to do that before. Put a patch over the hole. Now, if it means the clothes aren't good enough to wear out in public, that's fine, especially for children. They could be yard clothes or play clothes. For me, they become gardening clothes or painting clothes or dirty job clothes, like scrubbing the barbecue type clothes, that sort of thing, because that saves my good clothes from being destroyed too. But learn to do the mending. It costs a fortune. I think it was $25. I think I can't remember. We talked about it a few months back, how much it costs to pay to get someone to take the hem up on a pair of trousers. I'm pretty sure it was $25. It was I don't pay that much for the pants. Why would I pay that much to get a hem taken up? Seriously, a couple of little simple things like that, skills, can save you a fortune. And that leads me into buy secondhand. Now, I haven't talked much about this year. I've done it in the past, but October is buy nothing new month. And really, for most things, it just makes sense to buy it gently used if you can find it, rather than paying full price for new. Because, I need a drink, it's only new until you take it out of the shop. Once it leaves that store, it doesn't matter what it is, it straight away becomes secondhand and it straight away has decreased in value. Unless it's a diamond. You don't see that Tiffany diamond on the engagement ring on the news. Woohoo! Look, I'm just saying that we all like new things, but for most, new or used doesn't really matter. You know, we can do without. Well, often you can get better deals on gently used or secondhand or recycled or whatever you want to call it. Furniture, for instance, cars. There you go, great one. No one turns their nose up at buying a really good quality used car. Don't have the money for a brand new one, and often why would you want to buy a brand new one, especially if a new model comes out, because they're still trying to get the bugs out of it. Buying used, buying secondhand, buying from garage sales, op shops, marketplace, doesn't really matter, but it's going to save you some money. It's going to keep some money in your bank account. And that leads me on to learn skills to do things yourself and save some money. Be a collector of skills. Now, I wrote a big long blog post about this a while back. I'll put the link to it underneath after the show. If you need something and you don't know how to make it or grow it or mend it, find out. You've got the world at your fingertips. You have the internet at your fingertips. Find out. Collect the skills you need and become a widget repairer extraordinaire or whatever. But collect some skills. Learn how to sow seeds. Learn how to make compost. Learn how to make pasta sauce. Learn how to make pasta. Learn how to fix a hem. Learn how to change the oil in your car or change a tyre. I'm gobsmacked at the number of people that do not know how to do those things. They don't know how to check the oil and water in their car. They don't know how to put wiper fluid in for the windshield wipers. Seriously, those things should be part of the driving test. Honestly, learning how to change a tyre. They are all skills and they are just basic skills. You know, we don't need to be particularly talented to be able to do any of those things. So next up, stop spending money you don't have. I know I should have put this at the beginning, but my mind was just racing. And you think it would be obvious, you really would, but you know, we're so used to going tap and off we go. These days you just use your phone and off you go. The humble credit card, it hides spending very well. And again, if you don't have the cash on hand to pay for it, you can't afford it. Move to a cash budget if you have to. I love cash budgets because they really do give you absolute control over your spending. It is so very easy to just get out the card and go tap or just run your phone over the gizmo gadget and have it done. And the money's gone and it's painless. It does not hurt you until the end of the month when you get your statement and see you have no money left. Or even worse, you go to buy something and the transaction's declined. That happened to me last night because I whipped out the wrong card. It's all right, we've got plenty of money, but we've got the money. I just whipped out the wrong card without even thinking, and it didn't work. And I did panic for a minute. Look, using credit cards is fine. If you want to use your credit card for the rewards or whatever they are, go right ahead and do it. Just absolutely every time you buy something, go home and pay it off. Transfer it straight to the credit card account and pay it off. Don't wait till the end of the month till you get the balance. Do it every day. Do it. Swipe your card, walk out of the store, get your phone out, pay it straight away. Move that money from your savings to your credit card account straight away. Do not let it linger because that's such an easy way to get in debt. You ask anyone who has credit card debt how easy it was. It wasn't agonizing for them, and it didn't cause them great pain. It just happened. So if you don't have the cash on hand to pay for it, you can't afford it. And I'm going to go out on a limb here because I'm already the world's most popular, and that's a very sarcastic person. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that really the only debt anyone should ever carry is their mortgage. And even that should be as low as possible, and it should be paid off as quickly as possible. And that means you buy the best house in the worst street for the lowest possible price you can, and you live there and you work like crazy and you do it up and you pay down that mortgage so that in a couple of years you can sell with enough equity in it to move up to the worst house in the second worst street, and rinse and repeat until you get your dream home. Nobody needs to start off in their dream home. Another thing that we really need, another habit we really need to develop is to stop relying on someone else to fix your problems. They're your problems, so you need to fix them. You can ask for help and you can ask for advice, but you really need to be proactive and actually ask. Don't just sit back and hope that someone's going to see that you're in trouble and offer to help. Don't wait for someone to notice that the pantry's empty or you've got holes in your boots or whatever. Don't wait for them to see that you haven't been going to work for a few months. If you need a job, ask around. Be proactive. Find one. If you need help fixing a leaking tap, ask for it. Be proactive. Find out how to do it. If we develop good habits now, then when, the end of the world as we know it happens again, it won't cause shock. We'll be prepared. The pantry will be full. We'll have a stockpile of clothing in the next couple of sizes for the children. We'll have seeds in our seed library because we've prepared for the future. We've developed the habits of doing something every day to prepare so that when things do go pear-shaped, and they will, they always do, and that is life. But when things do go pear-shaped, your life just rolls on like it should. Oh, here's another one. Stop wasting water. Now, I know that sounds ridiculous, but don't leave the water running when you brush your teeth. Water the garden twice a week at night to save water. Mulch so that you can save water. Catch the rainwater if you can. And yes, I realise that a great part of our country is underwater right now, but it's not going to stay that way. We live in a country of weather extremes. So, stake my reputation on it. After the flood will come the drought. So we need to get into the habit of saving water, of being water conscious, of being conscious of the way we use it. And if we do that now, get into that habit now, we won't need to make any life-shattering changes when the rain stops and the drought starts. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it doesn't matter how much water there is, we still have to pay for it. So don't waste it. Another habit we should get into, and I'm still working on this one too because sometimes I forget, is to use leftovers. I have a really good friend whose husband refuses flat out to eat leftovers. Absolutely will not eat. If they've had a roast for dinner tonight, he won't take the meat on his sandwiches tomorrow because they're leftovers. So they don't have leftovers. Now, he was raised by his grandmother and she lived through 2 world wars and a Great Depression in the UK. So she sort of suffered a bit, and she was really good at wasting nothing. And, as he says, they would often eat leftovers because food was to be eaten, not wasted. So he absolutely loathes leftovers. But she's become quite canny over the years, and she freezes what she calls extra meals for the next week or the next fortnight or the month or whenever she feels like that meal again. And sometimes she'll freeze the complete meal, enough for the two of them. the savoury and the side dishes. Sometimes it might just be the savoury, sometimes it's just the sides, sometimes it's only a single serve. But she just freezes them, she labels them, and then when she has enough of the same, that's their dinner. It's a freezer meal, not leftovers. Excuse me. I love it. I absolutely love it. She loves her husband, so she doesn't give him leftovers because he doesn't like it. It works. A little mind game, but it works. Another thing, and this is something I've been doing, limit trips in the car. I plan my trips so that I only go out once a week. Now, since the kids left school, I've been really cut back on driving, but since we've had the huge price jumps in fuel costs, I'm only going out once a week, and I choose where I go based on how much I can accomplish in that one trip. That's my focus. It's a bit of a challenge and it's a bit of fun because I sit down on a Monday night and I plan what I've got to do for the week, where I've got to go. Post office, do I have to go to chemist? Do I need to go to supermarket or the greengrocer, the butcher, Spotlight? My happy place, Spotlight at the moment. Got all their Christmas stuff out. It's so nice to look. Bunnings, wherever I've got to go, I plan it out. So I'm making one trip and I choose the things that are closest together, and they're the things that get done, unless it's absolutely vital that I do something else. Otherwise, I just moved over to the next week so that I'm not driving a lot. And I think the last 5 weeks, the furthest, the biggest trip I've done was about 7.6 kilometres. That was the round trip. I did everything I could within that trip. Filled the car with petrol, got the printer cartridges I needed, did some grocery shopping. It was really good. But that's how I do it. It means some things have to wait, and so be it. But it just also means that I'm not driving kilometres out of my way for one appointment or one chore or one thing. It just has to wait until I have a few things to do in that area. Then I will combine them. I have to say, I don't mind not driving so much at the moment. People on the roads are lunatics. Okay, I was thinking about this yesterday. Fill the oven when baking. Now, it's a bit of a no-brainer, but it costs on average 61 cents an hour to run your electric fan-forced oven. And that's an average. You can get a more accurate price from your electricity supplier if you know the wattage of your oven and when you use it and what the rate is for when you're using it. But, 61 cents is the average. So if I'm going to spend 61 cents an hour, I may as well fill the oven and bake a few things at once. It's become a habit over the years to only turn the oven on if it's going to be full. If I don't have enough to fill the oven, then I look for another way to cook it, and it might be the barbecue. Oh, the barbecue. If it's wintertime, I might use the slow cooker or the microwave or the electric fry pan, depending on what I'm cooking, rather than turning on the oven. Which brings me to cook once, eat twice. We've talked about double up cooking before. It saves money, it saves time, it saves energy. And really, it only takes a couple of extra minutes to prepare a double recipe of whatever you're making. And if you're going to make a mess and clean up, have to clean up anyway. And if you're going to cook anyway, you may as well double it. Now, if you don't like to thaw and heat cooked meals, then while you're prepping, prep the ready to cook stage, then just bag it up and freeze it. Then all you have to do is thaw it and cook it. Now, if you did this every night for a month, you'd have a month's worth of meals in your freezer. So you get a month of cooking. Yes. saves a lot of time if you don't have to cook. And that sort of brings me to track what's in the fridge that needs to be used up. Now, I use the whiteboard on the fridge to keep track of what's open and what needs to be used. If it's enough for a full meal, if it's just a single serve. And that's really, really helping with food waste. Now, I thought I was pretty good at that anyway, but really good now. It's really actually cut down on the amount of food that was forgotten at the back of the shelf. So track what's in the fridge. When you're shopping, shop with your list and stick to it. If you forget something, it has to wait. Keeping a detailed shopping list and sticking to it makes a huge difference to your grocery budget. Now, you may find once you start doing this that for a couple of weeks, your grocery spend actually increases and you'll be going, well, Kath led me astray. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Well, that's perfectly normal because you're shopping off a list of everything you need. But that grocery bill will come down as you keep shopping because your list will shrink a bit. There'll always be things that you buy that last longer than one shop. Things like herbs and spices, blocks of cheese, butter, baking needs, flour, sugar, dried fruits, and so on, will last a bit longer. So you won't be buying them as often. Your grocery bill will come down a bit. They're things that you use, so you do need them, but you may not use them all the time. Or you may not use all of something before the next shop. So, shop with your list and stick to it. And this is going to sound weird coming after that, but stay out of the shops, real or virtual, until shopping day. Now, the easiest way to save money is to not spend it and just leave it in the bank. The easiest way to not spend money is to stay out of the shops. It is that simple. It's a no-brainer. Now, most of you have taken part in no spend challenges. So all you need to do is just make every day a no spend challenge day. Now, I'll put a link to the video I did about having a regular no buy day somewhere. You'll find it. I did it last week. That really works. When you need to add something to the shopping list, add it and wait until shopping day to buy it. Now, you may find that you can actually cross it off the list come shopping day because you've figured out how to use something you already had to do it, to do the same job, or you change your mind. So that will save you some money too, keep some money in your bank. Well, that is quite a few habits to work on. Developing just 2 or 3 is going to save you some money, save you some time, save you some energy. And you can use that money that you're not spending to pay down any debt you may have or to build your pantry, because that's another good habit to get into, pantry building. Preparing for the future by ensuring you have enough in your pantry to ride out a crisis is a good thing. It's not stupid, it's not hoarding, it's not being greedy or selfish. It's a good thing, it's wise. Or you could get into the habit of keeping your pantry full to beat inflation. Because you're buying at today's prices, you'll enjoy it tomorrow, but you won't be paying tomorrow's prices. That's a habit, it just makes sense to develop. So, let me see. I'll skip back over. Blurry-eyed there. See what we've got here. Gosh, you're from all over the place, guys, aren't you? All right. Oops. Okay, no questions, no questions. Yes. Do I have a water feature near the window or is it raining? No. Nothing. I love making, I've lost it, sorry. I love making aprons and put them on when I get seriously cleaning. I wear an apron all the time in the kitchen. My mum always wore aprons in the kitchen. I have quite a few. Some of them are really pretty and I don't want to wear them because they're too nice and I know that I will wreck them. You've all seen me in the kitchen. I am a terror in the kitchen. But I like aprons. They save our clothes. They save our clothes. They save washing. They're really, really good. Maureen mended her son's work pants last night. Yes. Colleen only buys new for birthdays or Christmas. The rest of the hand is second year. Yep. New cars are very expensive. Maureen just blanched broccoli from her garden and froze it. Yes. Where is it? Oh. I've always thought paying by phone is too much of a security risk, also tapping a card. Tapping a card, not quite so much. Paying by phone, people want to send me their credit card information by email, or they want to ring me and give it to me over the phone. And they get very, very upset when I flatly refuse to do that. Not because I would rob them blind, but because it is insecure. They will not use a secure online payment gateway that has encrypted their information. So you need a whopping great processor to be able to hack into it. But they're quite happy to give a random stranger that they don't know from a bar of soap credit card number, the expiry date, the name on the card, and the CVV. Perfectly happy to do that. And they get upset when I say no. Or worse, they want to put it in an email and send it in an email, or put it in an envelope and post it to me. No. There's a reason I have a secure payment gateway on Cheapskates, because it is secure. Yeah, I agree. You don't pay by credit card over the phone. I may have to show some how to do a hem. I can show them how to do an iron-on hem, and I can show them how to do a hand-sewn hem. I've got a couple of different hemming stitches that I use depending on how rushed I am, and the fabric, because depending on the fabric as to the type of stitch that you use to do your hem. I think you mean the worst house in the best street. That's what you usually say. Well, that would be a real estate agent saying to you, buy the worst house in the best street. Buy the worst house in the worst street, do it up and move. You will get your money back. You will get some equity in your home and be able to move up faster than doing that. So if it's a real estate agent telling you to do it, think about why, because it's only going to benefit them. Kathleen harvested rhubarb. Estelle keeps a jug in the kitchen for warm-up water. Every morning we boil the kettle and I have a cup of tea. Wayne has a cup of coffee, and the rest of the kettle goes into the thermos, and that's what I use for my hot drinks during the day. Been doing that for I don't know how long now. Little things. It means I'm really conscious of how many hot drinks I have in a day, but all the time over and over either. Just little things, good habits to get into. Miss Cupcake does errands when she does the school run. Yep. Catherine's in New Zealand. I love New Zealand. Okay, tinned tomatoes, as in proper tins in tins, not bottles. Tinned tomatoes will store pretty much indefinitely, but my disclaimer is if it is a ring pull, there is a better than fair to middling chance, maybe 2 years, 3 at the most. Otherwise, the seal on the ring pull has been known to give. And we don't want to waste tomatoes. But if you can get tinned tomatoes just in old-fashioned tins that you have to open with a can opener, they will keep forever and a day. Now, in saying that, of course, the older they are, the quality changes. The colour will change, the flavour may change. They are still safe to eat, but they won't be the same as tin tomatoes that have only been in the tin for a year. If that makes sense. I always look on leftovers as a free meal because I've covered the cost of them in the dinner that they came from. Yeah. I think they're free too. Someone argued with me and I said, well, you've got to cover the cost somewhere. So it's covered in the cost of, the roast chicken. Chicken's covered in the cost of that meal. Oh, Bobstar. Sorry, I meant to put a little thing on the on Cheapskates Chatter today with the different times, and it was just a crazy day. The only card I have that is a tap is my debit card, and there's only ever money on it to pay for what I am buying. I don't keep a credit balance on it. I said the best house in the worst street. Yeah. Well, you could buy the best house in the worst street. Buy the worst house in the worst street and move up is a good one too. Okay. Okay, even the government said today to prepare for the weather emergencies, the SES can't guarantee it gets people within 72 hours. Right, okay, guys, this has nothing to do with habits, but it has, in a way it has. We need to be prepared. Now, we've talked all year and probably a good part of last year and the year before about being prepared. We need to be prepared for anything. This is not fear-mongering. If you want to say it's fear-mongering, go howl at the government because they're telling you that 72 hours, there's no guarantee that help will get to you within 72 hours if you are flooded in. Now, they are already saying on the news tonight, they were already saying that there is a better than fair to middling chance that people will be flooded in. They will be trapped in their homes. They may not have water in their homes, but they may not be able to leave their property for the water. I need to stress that you do not drive through floodwater. You might think you know the road and where it's going and where it bends and whatever, and that's fine if it is dry and you can see. But it takes, let me see, it takes, that's a 6-inch, 15 centimeters piece of paper, cardboard. That much water across the road will float your car. It will float a four-wheel drive. It will float a Land Cruiser or a Patrol. You do not drive through floodwaters in a car. You do not drive through floodwater if you do not know what you are doing. It is not something that you can go, I know the road, because you don't. Because that water will have chewed up the road and dug up the bitumen, it lifts the bitumen, it will be up and down and all over the place. Do not drive through floodwaters. I know it's hilarious to see the cars stuck under the Montague Street Bridge in floodwater when usually there's trucks stuck because they've jammed under it. That it's not funny. It's dangerous. Water is powerful. Do not drive through floodwater, especially if it's going to take 72 hours for someone to come and rescue you. And I say that as the wife of someone who is certified in recoveries, vehicle recoveries. Do not do it. It is not worth the risk. So you need to keep your pantry full. If your pantry is not full, if you don't have bread, milk, food to last you at least a week, you need to seriously think about getting some in. Think about non-perishables because the power could well go out depending on whether the water gets into the underground Duvawaki Watsits or not. You can lose power. You lose power, you lose internet, you lose telephone. So keep your phone charged. Get out your solar chargers. Not that there's going to be a lot of solar, but get out your solar chargers. Keep them handy. Have torches handy. Keep a first aid kit handy. Make sure your pets are taken care of. Their bedding is up high so it won't get flooded. Last Friday's downpour, our back, undercover back area, was under around about nearly 15 centimetres of water. The water was actually lapping the step. So I was out there because I was listening to the rain. Oh gosh, it's raining heavily. Looked out the kitchen window and it was a lake. The whole backyard was a lake. Some of my pots were starting to float. So there I was out there moving stuff up onto the veranda, bellowing for the children to come and help me move stuff up onto the veranda, and telling Lacey dog not to drink the water. Can you please stop drinking the water until I get the stuff out of it? Water, this rain event, it's not going to be a gentle shower. We hope it's not. So please, please be prepared. Prepare. If you have been preparing along with us for the last 12 months, 18 months, fine. If you haven't, you don't have a lot of time left to get some food into the house. Make sure you've got torches, bedding. If you're prone to soggy ground anyway, think about, do you need to lift anything up higher? They were also saying very strong winds, so make sure there is nothing loose that's going to blow around. 100 kilometre an hour winds. I've been in winds that strong. It's scary. You lift everything up. Just do your best to be prepared because it makes sense. But when you are self-reliant and you're responsible for yourself, at least you know. Sorry, Joy, I didn't mean to get quite so, but it bothers me a bit. Pat gets up early. I love getting up early in the summer. Daylight savings started. Love it. I get up early in the summer too, Pat, and I'm outside pulling weeds, watering, planting, mowing the lawn. I can't mow the lawn until after 7 because the neighbours complain. But, get the washing on the line all before the heat of the day. It's wonderful to do that. We've bought the worst house in the worst street. When we bought our house, well, it wasn't quite the worst. There was one that was uglier. When we bought our house, I was telling a friend about it, and she said, you do know that they don't even deliver pizza to that street. We never had an issue, and we had lovely neighbours. We had lovely, lovely neighbours all around us the whole time we were there. But it was the worst house in the worst street, and it was a good starter home. We had everything we needed to get started, and we were able to improve it and sell it and move up. You do what you do with the money that you've got, and you do not go. See, so many people now have been caught. Interest rates were really low, so they borrowed big. And the news this week has been there are lots of people looking to sell because they can no longer afford what they thought they'd be able to. And that could be for a lot of reasons. Perhaps interest rates were so low, they thought they were going to last forever because, of course, the Reserve Bank said 2024 before they went up. And it's only 2022. They weren't paying extra off it. They don't have enough equity in it. They didn't build up any emergency savings. I don't know, lots of things. Queensland Government, yes, I've looked at that site. Jane says Queensland Government has a great site for extreme weather preparedness. Now, Queenslanders have been told to expect 11 cyclones this season. Is that a lot? Seems like a lot to me. It's another thing to get prepared for. Oh, Selena, I'm so sorry. Oh, you know, I didn't mean to jump when I said, water is powerful. I have seen less than 6 inches of flowing water wash a Land Cruiser off a causeway. They're not little light cars. I've seen it wash a Land Cruiser off a causeway. I've seen another one fill up with water and sink because it got washed off the road into the creek. I have video somewhere of it. Water is really powerful, really, really powerful. And I know someone's going to say, oh, 6 inches of water, that's rubbish. 6 inches of flowing water, that's a strong current. It will shift you sideways. And once you lose traction, you float. Radia has a friend who couldn't leave her property for 3 days. Yep. Look, when we were in New South Wales, it was really weird because we would be flooded in. We didn't get the rain because the rain would be further north or to the west of us, and the rivers would bring it down, and we would flood. It was really the first couple of years we were there, which has messed with my head, that we'd have floods and be flooded in without rain. But that's just the way it is, because you don't actually always need to have rain to have the flood. I know, Jane, 11 cyclones. That's what they said on ABC News last night or this morning, because I was like, 11, because I actually elbowed Wayne. Did he just say 11 cyclones? Well, you know, we don't head north during the wet anyway, but that's certainly going to put any Cape trips off, isn't it? Bob Star prepares extra this time of year for cyclones, yeah, because they can come up out of nowhere too. So, and they can be gentle little nothings and turn into ferocious roaring destroyers of property. Okay, I've gone over time. Didn't mean to go over time, guys. Thank you so much for watching and listening to me rave on. I hope there's some habits in there that you probably all do them without even realizing. But the ones that, you know, build skills, be a collector of skills, that is one habit. Get into the habit of learning and improving your skills all the time. You might not realize that making bread is a skill. Making bread without a bread maker is a real skill. but it is. You know, it takes practice, and once you've done it and you've perfected it, wow, you know, it's something to be really proud of, but then you can make bread for the rest of your life if you have the ingredients on hand. So, all right, if you're watching this on replay, could you please do me a favor and leave a comment below, just so I know that you've watched right to the very end, because this helps me with planning future videos, and it sort of gives me an idea of what everyone likes to listen to and know about. Now, I read all your comments, so even if you're, you know, got a question, put it in the comments. I read them. I do my best to answer all your questions. So feel free to ask questions, leave comments. And please remember to like, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and share. These 3 things help our channel grow and make it easy to find amongst the billions and gazillions of channels on YouTube. And of course, the easier it is to find us, the easier it is to spread the message that it is not only okay to live life debt-free, cashed up and laughing, but absolutely doable, even in crazy times that are 2022. Okay, happy cheapskating, everyone. Stay dry, stay safe. Don't drive through floodwaters. Develop some new cheapskates habits, and I'll be back with another video next Tuesday night. Have a great week, everyone.